Hi! Today I'm going to show you how to make a basic pencil drawing. In this case, it's a cartoon chameleon. Take it into Adobe Photoshop to use the drawing as a guide to make nice crisp line work. I'll walk you through the basic steps so you can get a quick representation on how the flow works so you can jump into your own project without having to watch a long tutorial video. For the actual drawing, what I typically do is just rough out the area where I want the image located on the page. I use cheap colored pencils, usually light blue for super rough lines, red to tighten it up a little, and finally a regular pencil to get the more final result. Having layers like this I find really helps if you're like me and it's been a while since you sat down and sketched. Maybe you feel a little all over the place or even intimidated to draw again. Using multiple pencils makes it feel less like this needs to be perfect the first time. Once you have your drawing ready, scan it into your computer, or just take a photo with your device and bring it into Photoshop. Photos are large file sizes, so you should probably resize them down if you plan to upload it to a website and you want fast loading times. Try not to have your height or width go much bigger than 800 pixels in your dimensions if you're putting it online. I have the file size I want already. First things first, copy your original layer into a new layer just to keep it safe in case you need to go back to it. Click and drag the layer down on top of the new layer icon. The topmost layer is what you're actually looking at. Lock the original with a padlock so no changes can be made to it accidentally. Click the eyeball to hide it too. What I'm going to do is redraw my line work with a brush. I'm using a stylus, which makes it way easier than a mouse. I want my new line work to pop against the background that I'll be tracing, so what I like to do is hit Ctrl U to bring up the hue and saturation window and slide the colors around to something bright. Click on the new layer. I'm going to go with this vibrant red because my black line work will be easier to see against it. Now click on the layer style drop down and change it to multiply. This makes the layer perfect to trace, like it's on an old-fashioned light box. Lock the layer with the padlock again so you don't bump it. Make a new layer with the new layer button. If you hit Shift F5, it'll take you to the fill layer. I'm going to give myself a pure white background to draw on top of. Slide this white background underneath the drawing. Now make one more layer to use for your actual line work. Bring this layer to the top. You can use Ctrl plus and Ctrl minus to zoom in and out, or you can hold Alt and scroll up and down with your mouse scrolling wheel. Spacebar to use to pan around the image. It may sound like a lot of shortcuts to remember, but just after one project, you'll remember most of them because you'll use them so often. Now zoom in with Ctrl plus and pan with space to find your starting point. Use B for the brush tool. I like to use the hard, round, pressure-sensitive brush if I'm using a stylus. That way I don't have a boring uniform width. Now use the brush to redraw the line work. Hit B to go to the brush to redraw the line work. Spacebar to pan. I usually put in more detail on the computer than I do on paper and make some slight adjustments as I go, because on a computer you can zoom way in and see all your nitty-gritties. Use R to rotate the whole canvas, and use B to go back to brush. Use E for the eraser tool, which I like to change the setting for that to being a hard round. That way it erases everything cleanly, not pressure sensitive. When the drawing is done, hide that original scanned image and you'll have your nice crisp line work against a pure white background layer. And that's it. You'll be ready for coloring, which I'll go over in my next video.